I don't know what's going on, but yesterday was glorious. It was wonderful. This congregation pulled together, as I told some of you this already this morning, to put together the first full traditional funeral that I have conducted in 20 years. We do memorial services, we do funerals, we do all kinds of stuff, but none of them are traditional and complete as yesterday was. I think it was in 2006, the last time that I had a funeral with a casket, with pallbearers, with the committal at the end of the service, a procession to the cemetery, and the commendation at the cemetery. That's a full, traditional, complete funeral. And we haven't done it here since I was here. It called for me to remember stuff from way back yonder. We have a new prayer book. It called for me to revamp everything, all of my documentation. So I worked quite a bit last week, but not near as much as my dear ladies. And thank you. This family, not to mention me, but the family was very touched by your hospitality and your care and the love that you showed them to them. And I am humbled. So thank you. And that fits in amazingly with this gospel. I wondered if I was going to make that transition, didn't I? This is a hospital. This place, these people, this is a hospital. This is a place of caring and healing for sinners. And I'm not going to ask for it because you might just disappoint me. So I'll make the declaration, we're all sinners. Lizzie saw where I was going. Thank you, dear. We're all sinners. We're all in need of healing. We're all in need of care. A hospital is a place with lots and lots of different kinds of people doing lots and lots of different kinds of things. That happens right here. We're all sin sick. We all have our priorities way out of whack. We all can be horrendously selfish. We all think we know the right thing to do, and we try to force everybody else to do the right thing. God help us. And He does. That's the deal. What you guys did yesterday, you helped heal a broken family. Teresa survived a month after her cancer diagnosis. It was very, very quick demise. Thank God she didn't suffer the way so many people do. But it's still, a 63-year-old woman had 2 months from the time she started feeling sick. And that's devastating to the family. It's devastating enough among us, where she was loved and cared for. Can you imagine? Yes, you can imagine what that family was going through. And your contribution to yesterday was a healing balm for that family. And I don't know if you ever saw it. I don't know if you were able to observe it. But I did. And I thank you. What you did exemplified the care that Christians should have for one another. And I thank you. I'll shut up now about that because I don't want everybody to boo-hoo me. Like I'm going to. A number of years ago, I saw a movie. You know I love movies. This was a Robin Williams movie. He was a very silly man who happened to make some wonderful, serious points with his movie. And his movie told a story that has its basis in fact. and I've checked it out. The thing still exists. The Institute still exists. They're still doing stuff. They're doing weird stuff, don't get me wrong, but they're still doing stuff. The Institute is called the Gesundheit Institute. Have y'all heard of it? Okay. The guy who was the lead in the movie, his real name was Dr. Patch Adams. Pardon? It is a great movie. He founded a little thing called the Gesundheit Institute, where as a doctor he cared for many, many terribly sick people. Had no choice. If the family wanted to give him some money, that's fine. But he did what he did for the love of people. And he healed a lot of people of some horrible things. There were a lot of people who came to him that were not healed. But in a spiritual sense, in an emotional sense, they received a healing at the hands of the Gesundheit Institute. By the way, the Gesundheit Institute is now worldwide. They have kind of like hospitals, but not really. They have kind of like hospitals all over the world. They have doctors who travel all over the world to give care to people. Frankly, can't pay. They can barely afford to buy the sandals with which to walk to the, quote, hospital. Patch Adams is an example of a doctor who cared for people no matter what. And it exemplifies what we did here. We fit into the Gesundheit Institute yesterday. You weren't, y'all don't see the end result of who we are and what we do here. The best I know, the men and particularly the women of this congregation came together and did nothing more than they always did. Am I right? But our instincts are good. Our hearts are true. And a family that I have come to know and love is tremendously blessed. That's what we do. You and I. That's what we do in this congregation. And I'm going to encourage us all to continue to do it. I'm worn out, by the way, today, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Sorry, Dad. But I'm worn out in a good way. There's a story that I recently read about the period after the cessation of hostilities in World War II. We had about 400,000 prisoners of war in this country. Shipped them all away from Europe over here, or from the Pacific over here. And we housed these prisoners of war all over the country. I think there were like 8 POW camps in Texas alone. And I read a story about one particular German clerical worker who had worked for the military, the German military, and she had been captured as we began to take Germany. And it took some time, but she finally made it over here, and she was in a prisoner of war camp in a little town in West Texas. And in the process of all of this moving around and getting captured and all that, her hand had been injured. And what the German authorities had told all of the military people in the German army was that Americans were horrible people. They were mean and they were cruel and they were awful. And this girl, 22-year-old girl, who, by the way, her skill for the German army was that she was a telegraph operator. I bet there's not 2 telegraph operators in Bridgeport. It's quite a skill. She was convinced that when they discovered her injured right hand, that they would amputate it. Because it was quick and easy and blah, blah, blah. So she was terrified. She was terrified of the discovery. Well, they discovered it because, number one, her hand started stinking. The injuries were that bad. And so as they processed her into this prisoner of war camp in West Texas, they discovered an awful mass underneath her bandage. And they immediately wheeled her into a surgery suite. Nobody in Texas knows how to speak German, apparently. So there was a communication breakdown, and she was horrified. She was terrified. She just knew she was about to lose not only her hand, which is bad enough, but her livelihood, and I don't know what else it would mean to her. The surgeon was a good man, a kind man. And he went out into the hospital and he found some German soldier whose arm was in a sling, so he was still in hospital, but he brought him, and this guy also spoke English, so he asked him to be a translator. And he told this girl, he said, I believe that I can save your hand. It's bad, but I believe I can save it, and I want to try. And at that announcement, at that news, she just broke down. She was still afraid that was a deception, and she was about to lose her. Well, they put her under. The surgeon worked 6 hours on this way. He worked an hour on her index finger. The infection was that bad. And she came out of the recovery room surprised to see that she still had it. And the translator and the doctor came in and spoke to her and said, okay, I think I've got it. I think I've got all the infection now. I think you got a long way of recovery to go. We're going to be doing some therapy with you. You're going to be doing some exercises. Do them, and you may keep your hand. The end of the story is this. The girl kept her hand. She returned to Germany. And she told the people around her about the way that they had been lied to by their own government. She told them about the kindness and the care that she got among the people that they had sought to kill for 4 years. She spread among the German people a ray of hope that the restoration of Germany after that horrible war was going to be conducted in kindness and in mercy. That's what we did today. So thank you. And God bless you.
Amen.